Hello everyone, this is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today in this session, I am going to explain you about Vlan implementation. That is nothing but a virtual local area network implementation. So generally we are having a different types of networks. Local area network, wide area network and metropolitan area networks. So local area network is actually refers to the network of devices like switches, hubs, bridges and servers that are used to share a connection. So all the networks are used to share the resources or share the connections with the help of this all the devices. So switches one of the networking device, hubs one of the networking device, bridges one of the networking device. So these are all the devices that all the devices are connected together and share their connection for sharing their resources in the particular location. So usually at a specific location. So these local area networks are also called as broadcast domains. Is also called as broadcast domains. So local area network is nothing but it is a connection of all the different networking devices that are used to share a connection for the sharing resources. So that is a local area network. And sometimes it is also referred as a broadcast domains. So from this local area network, we are going to refer the term VLAN, that is nothing but virtual local area network. So what is meant by virtual local area network actually? So it is a custom network. It is a custom network that we can create. That is a custom network which we can create, which is created from one or more local area networks. It enables a group of devices available in multiple networks. So what it does do actually, it enables all the group of devices. Group of devices are nothing but like switches, hubs, routers, servers, anything. So it enables all the group of devices available in different types of networks to be combined into a one logical network. So all the devices that are implemented on the multiple networks is to be combined in one particular logical network. So suppose you can see this is one area and this is one area. So this is one LAN 1 and this is one LAN 2. And these two networks and these having the devices, right? These having the devices and this all the group of devices available in these networks are to be combined as a local area network. That is one logical network. So this all the local area networks are combined together in one particular logical network. So the result becomes a virtual LAN. So combining this all the different local area networks into a single logical network is called as, it becomes as virtual LAN that administrated like a physical LAN. So the full form of VLAN is, we already seen that, virtual local area network. So local area network is a group of connections with the help of group of devices that shares a connection for the purpose of sharing resources at a particular location. So that local area network is also called as broadcast domain. So generally, what is meant by VLAN actually? It is a custom network. Or logical network that is created with one or more local area networks. So see this figure. If you can observe this figure, this is the router. This router creates all the different types of LANs. This is one LAN. This is floor 3 LAN, LAN 1, and this is floor 2 LAN 2, and this is floor 3 LAN 3. So combining all the LANs with the help of one device, and it is implemented a logical network, that is a virtual local area network. So suppose you can see this example, the floor 1 having the multiple systems, or they are connected with the help of a hub. Similarly, floor 2, all the systems are connected with the hub. Similarly, floor 3, all the systems are connected with the hub. But all the different LANs are connected to one specific network device as a router. So all the different LANs are combined and grouped and connected to one device. That connection is called as that logical connection, and that network is called as logical network, and that is a virtual LAN. So this is the virtual local area network implementation mechanism. So how can we develop the virtual LAN in the organizations or corporate offices? So as we mentioned above, so LAN is also referred to as broadcast domain. This simply means in a situation when user uses his or LAN to broadcast any information, it will be sent to every user on LAN. So if anybody wants to send the information from one LAN to another LAN, so it will be sent to every user on LAN. So each and every user having that LAN connection. So each and every user having that systems. So whenever the broadcasting any information, it will be sent to every user on LAN. So to prevent broadcast from leaving a LAN, routers are used. So this method contains some limitations. This method has some certain limitation. So the time taken by the routers from processing information or processing incoming data is much higher compared to that taken by a bridge or switch. So the time taken by the routers for processing incoming data is much higher than compared to take that bridge or switch. So it is very higher than that taking of input information, taking of incoming data. So this led to the development of VLAN as a means of restricting broadcast from leaving a LAN. So restricting a broadcast from leaving a LAN. So if you observe this figure, this is the very virtual local area network implementation. It contains a traffic management, so that the time taken by these routers, the time taken by these switches has processing the incoming data is much higher compared with these bridges or switches. So by taking these switches, it is very time taking process to broadcasting the information. But after virtual LAN implementation, there is no traffic management and there is no delay of the broadcasting information, because of all the switches are connected to the VLAN. So that the broadcasting of any information is not at all delayed for some time. But here the broadcasting information is delayed because of the switches used under processing the incoming data. So this is the way you can develop the virtual LAN for the broadcasting information. And how virtual LAN works actually. So to implement the virtual LAN, we have some steps followed here, and here is the step-by-step details of how virtual LAN works actually. So virtual LANs in networking are identified by a number. So each and every system has assigning open IP address. Each and every system has a ports, and each and every network devices also having some numbers, the port numbers. So the same way here, the virtual LAN valid range is 1 to 4094. So on a virtual LAN switch, you assign ports with the proper VLAN number. So to implement that virtual local area network for the particular floors, you have to assign some ports. So floor 3 floor 2, floor 1. Each and every floor are connected to one router. So this is the process of virtual LAN implementation. But for all these, you have to assign virtual LAN port numbers for this, for this, for this. So all the 3 floors, you have to assign ports with proper virtual local area number, virtual local area network number. So the switch then allows data which needs to be sent between various ports having the same VLAN. So the switches can be used to send the data between the various ports having the same virtual local area network. So here the switches are used to allow the data transmission for the particular ports, particular systems. Since almost all networks are larger than a single switch, almost all the networks are larger than single switch, there should be a way to send traffic between two switches. There is a way to send traffic between two switches. So one simple and easy way to do this is assign a port. So assigning a port is a purpose of reducing the traffic between two switches. So assigning the port number to each switch is very efficient to reduce the traffic between those two switches. So the simple way is what the simple way of doing the thing is what assigning a port on each network switch with a VLAN and run a cable between them. So all the switches are to be connected with the cable, and all the switches are having the port numbers because of we assign a port because of to reduce the traffic, so that you can implement virtual LAN very easily. So assigning port numbers and connecting switches with the help of cables and assigning that port numbers to implementing that virtual LAN mechanism. So these are the things you have to implement so that the virtual LAN is working. So to assign the port numbers to the each and every switches, we have to follow some ranges. So what are those actually? The ranges of virtual LANs. So virtual LAN 0 to 4095 is 0 and 4095. Both are reserved for virtual LAN which cannot be seen or used. So those two port numbers are only for the reserved purpose. And virtual LAN 1 is the default virtual LAN of switches. So all the switches having the default VLAN, that is a VLAN 1. You cannot delete or edit this VLAN. We cannot edit or delete this VLAN, but it can be used. But we can use it. And similarly, virtual LAN 2 to 1001 and virtual LAN 2 to 1001. It is a normal VLAN range, normal virtual LAN range. You can create it, you can edit it, you can delete it. These ranges are Cisco default for taken ranges. These are the Cisco ranges for default token ranges. And we cannot delete this VLAN. And also 1005 to 4094. All the LANs are used for auto deletion of the virtual LAN members. So these are all the different ranges of virtual LAN. So all the switches are having the virtual LAN port numbers. With this assigning of virtual port numbers, the virtual LAN implementation is done. And here to assign each and every port numbers, we have to understand that all the addresses of each and every system having some IP addresses. So what are the IP addresses actually? So IP header classes. So to implementing this virtual local area network, we have to understand that the different types of IP classes that are assigned to each and every systems. So there are multiple systems we can have. So for the multiple classes we have here IP class A group. So IP class A group, which is the range of 1 to 126, and the subnet masking is what 255.0.0.0, and you can take an example is 1.1.1.1. Here you can observe that so this 1.1.1.1 is the example IP. In this 1.1.1.1, in this IP, we can say that the first 2 or 3 are called as network ID, and the last one is called as host ID. Last one is called as host ID. So it is divided as a different classes, and for this class A, we can say that example 1.1.1.1, and the leading bits are 8 bits, and the maximum number of networks we are using from 1 to 126 is 128, and the applications used for large number of hosts, so we have to assign a more number of hosts to all the systems. And the second one, IP class B. So IP class B range is what? From 128 to 191. 128 to 191. 127 is reserved for only checking purposes. IP address are checking purposes. And the subnet masking is what? 255.255.0.0. So example of IP is 128.1.1.1. And here leading bits are 16 bits. Leading bits are 16 bits. And the maximum number of networks you can use 16,384. 16,384. And it is used for medium size network. And next one, IP class C. IP class C, the categorization of the IP addresses range is C and 192 to 223. 192 to 223. And the subnet masking is what? 255.255.255.0. The example IP address is 192.1.1.1. And leading bits are 24, and the maximum number of networks are up to 20,97,157. It is used for local area networks. And IP class D and IP class E are not used for the regular IP addresses assigning 224 to 239 and 240 to 254. These two are not assigning for regular purposes. And 224 to 239 is only for reserved for multitasking. And 240 to 254, this class is reserved for research and development purposes. So like the way we can have different types of IP and header classes that are implemented for the virtual local area network implementation. And there are different types of virtual LANs actually. So when we are implementing the virtual LAN in the campus area, we can use one type. And when we are implementing virtual LAN for the default purpose, we can use some method. So like the way we can have a different types of virtual LAN mechanisms. So virtual LAN differs in its types based on the purpose for which it is set up. So for which purpose it is going to be set up, we have to think it first. So here we are discussing some of the most common types. The first one is what? Management VLAN. So this type is advisable to be set up for the most sensitive management tasks. So this type of virtual LAN implementation is advisable to be set up for the most sensitive management tasks like monitoring, system logging, simple network management purpose. And for all the sensitive management tasks, this type is advisable. And this not only provides the benefits of security, but also provides a bandwidth for these management tasks even in a situations of higher traffic. So in the development of management VLAN type, we are advisable to set up most sensitive managements like monitoring purpose, system logging purpose, and SNMP protocol purpose. We are going to implement this management VLAN. If we implement this VLAN mechanism, it is not only provides the benefits of security, it also provides the bandwidth profits also, because there is a situation happening in the higher traffic over the network. So to reduce that higher traffic also we have to implement bandwidth purpose, bandwidth task here. And the second one, data VLAN. Data VLAN. That is nothing but data virtual LAN. This type is also called as user VLAN. User VLAN. So data VLAN is also called as user VLAN, and it caters exclusively to user generated data. So users are going to generate some data on the network. So depending upon the structure of the organization, data virtual LANs are grouped. So data virtual LANs are grouped actually. It is highly recommended to deeply analyze how users can be grouped logically while looking at all possibles of its setup actually. So how they are setuping, how they are grouping, how they are transferring the data is to be set up by this data VLAN. So these groups can be department wise or maybe work group wise. So this type of VLAN is also called as user VLAN. And the next one is what? Voice VLAN. So voice VLAN, this is recommended and suitable for what? Organizational using voice over IP. Organizations using voice over IP. So this is suitable for only organizations using voice over IP. So setting up a different virtual LAN provides a bandwidth for additional applications and ensures optimum quality for VoIP. So this is the recommended for only organizations using voice oriented purposes. So it is setting up a different virtual LAN provides bandwidth for additional applications and ensures that optimum quality for VoIP. And the next one, default VLAN. So it is the one to which all the ports on a device are connected upon switching on. So here, in which all the ports on a device are connected upon a switching on. So whenever whenever you take a network device is a switch, if you take that one, the connecting all the ports on a device are connected together. So most of the switches having virtual LAN 1 as default. So most of the switches having the virtual LAN port 1 as default. It is advisable to change it by considering security. It is also another way to address that virtual LAN to which all ports are connected while not in use. So it is also another way to address that virtual LAN to which all ports are using or not, all ports are connected or not, all ports are using or not, all ports are connected or not. And the native LAN, this has been explained, this has been determined separately. And see here, the virtual local area network are divided into different types based on the category of the types. One is the port based VLAN, and the second one is the protocol based VLAN, and third one is MAC based VLAN. So MAC is nothing but medium access control. That is nothing but physical address of the system. And also protocol based. So protocol, we can use different types of protocol that underlying on the networking. And here see, the first one is what? Port based. So port based protocol, port based virtual LAN. The purpose of a port based VLAN is to connect a virtual local area network with the port. So based on the assigning of the port based type of VLAN is implemented. The purpose of a port based VLAN is to connect a virtual local area network with the port. This means that manual configuration of the switch port to a member of VLAN can be done. So here what we have to do, the manual configuration of the switch port to a member of VLAN VLAN. That is what we mentioned here. The virtual local area network with a port. It is connected with a port. So that indirectly says here the manual configuration of switch port is a member of VLAN can be done. So all devices associated with this port are also a part of the same broadcast domain due to similarity in VLAN. So whoever the devices are associated with the port number is all comes under the domain broadcast domain of VLAN number. So all these comes under broadcasting domain of VLAN number. So this is the port based. That means we are assigning or we are connecting a port with a VLAN number so that we have to configure manually switch port with the help of VLAN. With the help of VLAN. So all the devices are associated with this port are also as part of the VLAN member, as part of the VLAN number. And the next one, protocol based. So protocol based in this type, connection with ports depending on connection with ports. So all the connections are having their ports. That connection with ports depending on the protocol which has been used. So how the protocol is being used, that all the protocols with depending upon ports. The with ports depend on the protocol. This means that the traffic is processed based on protocols. So how the protocol works is basing for the traffic is traffic of the packets, traffic of the data. And the next one, MAC based. MAC based. So this enables establishing MAC with VLAN mapping. So map with the VLAN. So VLAN range is what? Up to 0 to 4095 range. But if you say MAC address, we have some like 004E, 4F, 68, 9F. So this MAC address is mapping with virtual local area network ranges. So this enables for establishing a MAC with VLAN every interface. So multiple MAC based VLAN groups can be created and every group can have a separate MAC address. So all the multiple MAC based VLAN groups are created, but all the created MAC based VLANs are having a different MAC addresses. So this is the way you can implement a type of virtual local area network. So one is port based, and the second one is protocol based, and third one is MAC based VLAN. And the characteristics of virtual local area network. So what are the characteristics that are being implemented in the virtual local area network? So each virtual local area network is a separate LAN. So why we are saying that word is, so all these local area connection 1, local area connection 2, local area connection 3, all these 3 are connected with virtual LAN connection. So that this all is said to be a separate connection, a separate LAN, because all these three with the help of VLAN is connected together. So that we can say this is a separate LAN that enables sharing of traffic between VLANs, thereby reducing traffic load and congestions. So taking so this is all one separated LAN, that is nothing but VLAN 1, and this is nothing but VLAN 2. So this is nothing but VLAN 3. So all these VLANs are sharing the traffic between thereby reducing load and congestion. So sharing is for what purpose? To reduce the load balancing and congestion purposes. So if VLAN 1 is having more load, then it shares the resources to the VLAN 2. If VLAN 2 is having more load, then it sends the sharing of domain to VLAN 3. So like the way all these VLANs, they are enabling sharing of their resources, sharing of their traffic between these VLANs. And the second one, it allows for the availability of workstations with optimum bandwidth for each port. So That is nothing but it allows for the availability of workstations. So all the workstations having the availability with the optimum bandwidth values for each and every port. So each and every port having optimum bandwidth. So those two we have to assign in the workstations, and it is easier to relocate terminals also. It is easier to relocate for what purpose? If floor one switches fail, then we have to replace for floor 2. So if floor 3 is fails, then we have to replace with floor 2. So like the way, if you can have to replace any of virtual LAN, it is easier to relocate the terminals. And also it helps to eliminate latency in the network. It helps to eliminate latency in the network. This promotes the efficiency on the network. So whenever you eliminate latency on the network, that means whenever you eliminate that loss of the network or latency of the network, it automatically indirectly promotes that the efficiency is increasing of the network. It automatically promotes that increasing the effectiveness of the network. So the main difference between LAN and VLAN is that in LAN, the network packet is advertised to each and every device. So in the LAN, what we are saying, all the systems are connected: C1, C2, C3, C4. So all the systems are connected to each other. So here the network packet is advertised. So that means the first system packet is advertised to the second system packet is advertised to the third system packet is advertised to the fourth system. So that each and every device in LAN is connected. Whereas in VLAN, the network packet is sent to only a specific broadcast domain. So if you want to send a specific broadcast, then VLAN implements to send only system 3. So if you want to send only system 4, then only send system 4. But in the local area connection, there is a chance to advertising each and every device. But in VLAN, there is no need to advertise each and every system or each and every device. You can directly send a packet to specific system. So those are the characteristics of different characteristics of virtual local area network. The purpose of virtual LAN. So what purpose actually we are implementing in the organizations or corporate offices. So virtual LAN is used when you have 200 plus devices on your LAN. So if your LAN having more number of devices that are connected, then it is better to implement virtual LAN. And it is also helpful when you have a lot of traffic on a LAN. So in the LAN connection, all the devices must not be sharing their traffic. So at that moment, all the systems having more load balancing. So it is helpful when you have a lot of traffic on LAN. So it is also helpful, and it solves a broadcast problem. And making a single switch into multiple switches. So make a single switch into multiple switches. So one single switch is acting like a multiple switch. One single switch is acting like a multiple switch. So like the way we can have a different types of purposes by implementing this virtual local area network. So this is what we understand this session. So once we'll go through the revision of what we are explaining in this session. So here the definition of virtual area network. So virtual local area network. So it is a custom network which is created from one or more local area networks. So all the local area networks are connected together, and with the help of one particular network device, it is going to be creating a logical network. That logical network is called as virtual local area network. And after this, this is the implementation, how we are implementing the virtual LAN in the corporate offices or organizations. So consider this example. It is taking as a floor 1, it is taking as a floor 2, it is taking as a floor 3. So all the floors having the local area connection setups actually, All these local area connection setups are linked with a separate device called router, Cisco router. So this entire configuration we are set up is called as virtual local area network implementation. So like the way you can implement in the corporate offices or any organizations. And how we are developing that virtual local area network, and how the traffic management will be happening in the virtual local area network implementation. So before virtual local area network, here all the devices are sending broadcasting the packets are individually, but here after VLAN implementation, it specifies that particular systems and particular broadcasting to all the systems. And how virtual local area network works actually. So what are the ranges that have to assign a ports? What are the ranges that have to assign the ports? So virtual LAN ranges are 0 to 4095 ranges are there. And to implementing that virtual local area network mechanism, we should assign some IP addresses to all the local area connection systems. So what are those IP address classes? IP address classes. So class A, class B, class C, class D, class E. So all the IP header classes we understood here. And what are the types of virtual LAN actually? So what are the types of virtual LANs? There are different types based on the purpose for which it is set up actually. So one is for setting the management purpose, one is setting for data purpose. So management VLAN, data VLAN, and voice VLAN, and default VLAN. Like the way we can set up a different types of virtual LANs. Along with that, in what purpose, in what scenario based we are going to divide some virtual network. So in that we are having a different types. One is port based virtual LAN, and the second one is protocol based virtual LAN, and the third one MAC based virtual LAN. So port based virtual LAN, assigning port to the VLAN number, and protocol virtual LAN, here the protocols are being matched with the ports depending upon the virtual LAN. And the MAC based, so MAC addresses are mapping with the virtual LAN. So we are having this type of virtual local area network types and the characteristics. So how the virtual implementation, virtual LAN will having the characteristics. So it allows the workstation for optimum bandwidth for each and every ports, and it is eliminating latency on the network. That implements to promote network efficiency, network performance, and the main difference between LAN and VLAN. So the main difference between LAN and VLAN, and the purpose of VLAN. Up to this we discussed in this session. Right? Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.